my guest in studio is Akosua Konadu Yiadom. She's a state-registered nutritionist, and she's going to help us to break it all down, eating disorders. Good morning, Akosua.
Good morning, Koko.
How are you?
I'm fine, yourself?
Fantastic. I'm very good, thank you. It's good to have you here.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, so let's get into it. What are eating disorders?
Okay, so it's a psychological condition to start off. It's something that has to do with psychology.
Okay.
So it's a psychological condition which results in you having unhealthy eating habits.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that is what it is. We have various types and we have causes. It could be genetics, which means that it is something that is in the family line. And so once it's something that has to do with a family or a family line, it means that with no fault of mine, I can have it. Research says that if it happens in, let's say, a twin, there is a 50% chances of it happening in the other twin.
Okay.
So that is where genetics come in. Because I am your twin, you had it, and so I have a 50% chance. I'm predisposed because you are my twin and you had it. So we have genetics, and then we have biology that could also kind of play with the genetics as well.
Okay.
And then we have the cultural ideas where we think that if everybody is looking like me, that is the way to go. That is where you can have access to having this kind of a job. You can fit here if you are a plus size and you want to. Now it's something that is not as it used to be 10 years ago, where you can have a plus size person desiring to be like Naomi Campbell. It was something that wasn't so. And so because of that cultural ideas, you go to the Zulu people and they are big, but no problem if you are so big. So that can be a reason. And so we have
all right, so that's our colleague Duke Mensah-Opoku there, parliamentary correspondent. And as he said, as and when there are activities of significance over there, we will cross over intermittently during the show. But this is the nutrition segment, which is sponsored by Farmers Market. The Farmers Market, 100% hygienic and farm fresh. Akosua Konadu Yiadom is my guest this morning, and we've been talking about eating disorders, and she was breaking it down for us as the function of psychology and the fact that people have challenges and therefore, various cultural or otherwise events that are happening in their lives are causing them to have various eating disorders. Akosua, so if you can then just reiterate what we were saying before and then break it down for us, the different types of eating disorders.
This was sad, and my heart goes out to Professor Abizari. He died 2 weeks ago. He's a professor in nutrition. So to the family, to his students, to everyone who was a lover of Prof, I see that it is God who gives us, and he. So sorry. Yes, I spoke about the causes being brain biology, one, and then personality trait. Okay, so I always want to look this way. I want to look like Kweku. I like the way Kweku looks on TV. I like the way Jifa looks on TV. I like the way Akosua looks, so I want to be like her. So there are some people who will want to restrict themselves because they want to look a certain way. And then we have the cultural ones. I was speaking about it. Elsewhere you go and women are big and it's not a big deal. But you come here or some part of the world and it's like it's a taboo to be big. So those can be reasons, and then genetics, like I said. Sometimes it's no fault of mine because Kweku is my twin, or because she is my twin. She had it, and so I have a 50% chance, according to research being conducted with respect to genetics. I also will have it. So those can be the causes, and then we have the types. So we have anorexia nervosa, which is very famous, and then the bulimia. It is very, very famous, where I can sit here and you can see me to be normal or okay as far as my weight is concerned, but I see everything to be wrong with my weight. So there are people who think they are big, they are too thin. It's like they are so uncomfortable with who they are or how they look. They want to be a certain way. And then the anorexia nervosa people, they really restrict themselves as far as eating is concerned. So there are people who can go like, okay, I'm going off carbohydrate because it's loaded in glucose, and so it will make me become more bigger.
All right, Akosua, we'll have to.
I have to go.
Yeah, we'll take a short. Yes, so Akosua, we're talking about the different types of eating disorders.
Yeah.
If we can run through the list.
Okay, so
anorexia
nervosa is what we started with, and then we have bulimia nervosa.
Okay.
We have pica.
Okay.
We have binge eating, and then we have what we call the avoidance or restrictive food intake disorder.
Okay.
So before that, I will try to put this whole thing together because of what was happening. So you can just catch me on my social media handles. I'll give them out later, and then you can have them. I'll put them together. So on Facebook, Nutritionist Akosua, and then on Instagram at the Nutritionist Akosua.
Okay.
So binge eating is also they eating large amounts of food, and we have the bulimia also eating a large amount of food, but they purge.
Okay.
So they bring it out. They could be either taking laxatives or they vomit. So they will sit and enjoy larger amounts of food, but later it's like they can't be comfortable. So some has to come out, but they will always eat that much.
Wow.
And then we have the binge eaters. They kind of eat larger amounts of food. So there are people who watch the television, for instance, and they have a whole bucket of chicken with chips in there,
and eat the entire thing.
They want to eat the entire thing. So if it's 2 hours, a movie lasting 2 hours, that is what they are doing as far as they enjoying the movie is concerned. So they overeat. And pica, they crave for something which is not food. So you have that happening. It has no
nutritional value.
Nothing. It's not food. It's not something you consider food. So they crave for ice, and it happens a lot in women, especially pregnant women, and then in adolescents. So just like the pregnant women, they crave for things which add nothing, and as a matter of fact, it sometimes takes something from them, especially iron deficiency, which results in anemia in pregnancy. You have pregnant women, let's say, wanting to eat what we call ayelo, or Kumasi they say chile or whatever.
It's clay, right?
It's clay. So that is what they want to enjoy, and it has no nutritive value. It adds nothing to your health as a pregnant woman. It rather takes something from you, because at that point in time it becomes an inhibitor, which will prevent the absorption of everything you are eating as far as iron-rich foods are concerned. So that is pica. So ice cubes, some want to chew paper, and you realize that in adolescents or school-growing children, they do that a lot. They chew their panko, they take a lot of paper, they chew chalks, and they chew a whole lot of things which doesn't look normal. Wood, they chew anything they can lay hands on. That is pica. And then we have the avoidance or restrictive food intake disorder, where there are some people, like I said, they can say that I am going off. The keto people will fall here. But much research has to be done into some areas. There are people who can go like, I am going off completely carbohydrates, and they are not going to take any other thing aside what they plan to take. And if you're having something or any of these things, there are various signs and symptoms because of what was going on. Probably time may not allow us. You can go on my social media platforms. I'll make them available to you. If you are going through any of these things we've spoken about, then you should watch out. It's either you have anorexia nervosa, it's either you have bulimia nervosa, it's either you have binge eating, you have pica, you have the A, that is the avoidance or restrictive food intake disorder. And there is another, there is this last one where we have the rumination disorder. Those people, they swallow the food and then bring it back, and just like ruminants do, and they chew it again. And some people swallow it. It's very it's awful. They swallow it or they spit it out. So those are the 6. If you are having any of these, and like I said, I'll break it down, you can just make sure you seek help from the health. You have to go to the hospital. You see a psychologist or you talk to a healthcare provider. You need to be helped, because if you don't take care of anorexia nervosa, it can be life-threatening. Bulimia, you can even have infertility issues. So if you have infertility issues, if you are kind of experiencing some deficiencies. There are people, they feel a certain way. Somebody having hypertension will feel. Somebody having diabetes, bulimia, if you have it, you can also have diabetes. If they feel that way, they kind of go to the hospital. I had somebody last week and everything was checked, but this lady was okay. So I was like, let's check for the B complex because there might be a deficiency as far as your vitamin B is concerned. And she was like, oh, okay, I think I've been prompted in that regard. So if you find yourself experiencing all these things, there are people who go like, I've done every test, but the results are great, but I still feel a certain way, then you should be paying attention, because it could be a deficiency in some nutrients, and any of these, especially the anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa, binge eating, the three can contribute to you having nutrition deficiencies. Yeah.
So bulimia, I just wanted to ask about that just as we wrap up the show. Since they are eating but throwing everything up, are they is there any chance of retaining any nutrition at all?
So they go through a lot of things, and I will say that you need to be helped, because in as much as there are some people, because of these things, there is kind of a devalue as far as devaluing as far as their nutrient intake or store is concerned. You probably may need to do supplementation, but even doing that much is also another disorder, because there are people, instead of eating to get what they will get from, let's say I need to take the green leafy vegetables to make sure that my iron stores are enhanced. I prefer to fall on supplements, and that alone is not enough.
It's not good.
You have to make sure you are eating the food, because that is the 100%. But we do supplementation. I sat here and said that it's 30 for me, food is 70%. So if you meet people who can do the 100% with the food, why not? But in some cases, definitely, like this person, supplementation may need to come in, but it shouldn't be the 70 with food being 30. Food should be 30 and the supplementation should be 20 to 30.
Food should be 70.
70, supplementation 20 to 30%.
All right. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Akosua Konadu Yiadom, who is a state-registered nutritionist.
Can I quickly give my social media handle?
Yeah, you thought you mentioned it earlier on.
So on Instagram, at the Nutritionist Akosua, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Nutritionist Akosua, and you can reach me on 0243 350206. I'll make everything available, don't worry.
Right. Hi there. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.
This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.